So I've just been to uh, a window cleaning convention. So I own a window cleaning company. Um, and yeah, came back on the way through, visited a mate of mine, my best friend from school, and I was saying to him, "I don't know what video to do." He says, well, you normally just do whatever you want to do. I said, "You've always done that in life." And then he goes and reminds me about a load of things in life that I've done and whatever. So I said, "That's a good idea. I'll just roll with it. Just go with it." He went, "Yeah, all right, I'll do that then." So then on the way home, I'm thinking, roll with it. I'm just gonna just get on with it. So I thought, okay, in the thumbnail, I'm gonna have ADHD coping mechanisms. Roll with it. So I'm letting you know now as a precursor. I've got no idea what it is that I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to start babbling on the hope that we'll find some random road between you guys in the comments and myself and my own brain, and that hope that there'll be something of value for you guys, and maybe I might get some inspiration as I start to ramble and speak. But I will say it's only going to be a short video because I've got things planned this evening, and I've also got my friend who's come over to pick up a van, who's actually in the room with me now. Guitar outside says, "Hi, Tony. Nice to have you here. Thank you." So yeah, okay. So what is it? What we're going to talk about? Okay, so not all people with ADHD have the same symptoms, but most that I know of have got the what's the word I'm looking for? The impetuousness. They're impetuous. They do things without thinking. Sometimes that can land us into trouble, and I've been in trouble a lot, whether it's from school teachers, people of authority. It just ends up happening that you just get in trouble because you don't fit into the circle box that you supposed to fit in. We're all triangles or stars, or choose a shape that doesn't fit into that circle. That's what we are, right? So it's a struggle. Other times, though, because we're not the circle, we do things impetuously. It ends up as a result. So a few years back, I decided that I was going to build a 2 by 2, 2 meter by 2 meter extension, and yeah, got my mate in to help me out, and thought, you know what, I might go 3 meters by 3 meters as we're sort of digging down for the foundations, and it turned out to be 6.5 meters long by about 5 meters wide. It had a mezzanine level, an upstairs area where you could, have a little bit of a library area and everything, and it was all held up with steels, the mezzanine level, and we had a big bridge timber. I've not done roofing before at the time, and as I'm starting to put my rafters in, I'm thinking there's going to be some spread here. What that means is like on the ridge timber, they just end up pushing down, and the roof's going to fall down. So I'm like, I'm going to keep the roof up. Okay, well, now, instead of having a timber out there, or what they call purlins to stop it from happening, I've probably lost most of you already. I'm going to put a ridge steel. So I ended up getting like, half a ton of metal and trying to get that up in place. So then we had to use like a block and tackle set to try and get it up there. But all this was like on the fly. It was like the extension idea. I just woke up one morning and think, I'm going to build an extension. And then it's, okay, well, I'm not going to have a flat roof. It's not going to be 2 by 2. It's going to be massive, and it's going to have a mezzanine level, and I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this. And I've ordered this quarter ton, half ton H section, and I've got to try and get it up there. But the ADHD kicks in, and it's like, how are you going to do it? Well, where there's a will, there's a way, on the fly, just going with it. And I got it in there. It just went in, down onto the padstones. Okay, so everything was really great. That worked out really well for me. Another time, I wanted a skylight put in my room, and I got my friend over. He was helping me out doing some painting or something. And all he knows is above his head is a saw that comes just through the ceiling, and as I'm starting to cut the ceiling board up in the loft. And he's cracking himself laughing. He said, what are you doing? I said, I want a skylight in here because it's dark in this all stairs and landing. So I want a skylight in there. I've never done one before, but I understand how water works and how a roof tile works and everything. So it's like, and I've got a mate of mine that I could call on if I really needed to. And so I did it, and it worked finally. I mean, not finally. Thankfully, the shop had one that would fit my size. Um, the distance between the rafters and or the trusses that are in the loft, and yeah, it all worked out fine. When I was doing the this big extension that I'm talking about, I'd I'd done loads of plumbing in the past. I've done central heating systems and whatnot, which I've just jumped in and learnt from people, and as I've gone on, thought I'd be quite capable of sorting out the plumbing to get water into this new extension. So I turned the water meter off in the garden, at the bottom of the garden, cut the pipe, water's going everywhere, and I'm like, okay, I need to join this quickly. So I'm trying to join it, and I couldn't get a seal. And the reason why at the time, which I didn't know, is because it's really old pipe that's under there. It's not copper. It's an imperial measurement, and yeah, to try and get it fit into to close that is something that was beyond me. So I was trying everything, PTFE tape. I was trying to put copper pipe in between the two, to trying to join it with crimps, and the pressure and everything. It was just going everywhere, and it was muddy, and I was like, ugh. So I was forced to try and get someone in. So I managed to persuade a plumber who didn't want to be there to come in and get it done, and the problem was solved. Good timing. I'm taking a day off from my meds to gauge the effect. Good man. That's I don't know if you guys can see on the screen here. I don't think you can, but there is a live chat. And yeah, so I need to find out how to get this chat on all messages are visible. There we go. I don't think it's going to make any difference though. But yeah, but I can see your chat there, buddy. Good. Meds important. Taking a break. Are you on the methylphenidate? Are you on the Ritalin, Concerta, Zenadate? If you are, comment and let me know. But yeah, so just going with the flow most of the time works out great. Other times we get ourselves into trouble, or we find ourselves in trouble, like with the water thing. But it ended up getting sorted out, and now I've got this extension with this mezzanine level and all the rest of it, and yeah, it worked out well for me. I've just recently done one in my garden, in another house, and it's all working good. So I just restarted with my okay, yeah, I tried that for a little while. The Adderall, I tried that for a little while, but it was giving me anxiety. I was really, really anxious on it. So I prefer the methylphenidate, and yeah, it's a little bit better. And the prescribing nurse gave me some fast acting stuff, because the thing is with the slow release stuff, it goes on throughout the day, and then in the evening you end up with this horrible crash. But the fast acting stuff you can just take in the morning. It'll get you up and out of bed and to work, and then the come down when you're at work isn't so bad, and then you're out then, you're at work, and life goes on. You get home and it's just a normal day. So I think I might ask to go on them on a more permanent basis. I'm not sure. But yeah, so running with it and going with it. The thing is the more that you do this, you find that you get like breaks. Like having ADHD, it's like having a Ferrari as a body, but having a Ford Fiesta brakes. And no offense to anybody who's got a Ford Fiesta, but if you've got a Ferrari and you've got a Ford Fiesta brakes, then you end up plowing past where you wanted to be, realizing, oh, whoopsie, and then you've got to turn around and undo a load of havoc and mess that you've made along the way, because you've just gone ballistic and berserk and gone too far. But the more times that you do that, eventually it's like going to the gym. You start off your bench pressing 60, then 80, then 100, then 120, then 140, then 160, and then 180, and I kind of stopped there because I couldn't do any more. And yeah, maybe I'll do 200 one day. But keep going to the gym and you end up getting better. Well, it's the same with your breaks with ADHD. As long as you're aware that you've got ADHD and you know that, then as you start to make these mistakes, you're getting older, having ADHD as an adult, then you start to see the warning signs before they happen, and you can kind of step back and say, well, that was a mistake then, I'm not going to do that again. And obviously we still get caught out, but your mistakes start tending to get less. If that isn't working for you and that isn't happening for you, then I would say that personal development is something that needs to be on your list. And I highly recommend that you do, and it's a cringeworthy thought, is wake up set your alarm, at least one day, where are we now? 16th, 17th or something? 17th of September? Before the end of this month, any of my viewers, right? Pick a day and set the alarm for 4:30 in the morning. It's going to be horrible. Go outside, go for a little bit of a walk, or get on your push bike and go out somewhere where there's a field or a lake or something, and just sit there at 4:30 in the morning. Look at the sunrise and just meditate and just think about where you want your life to be in 10 years' time. Because it's so easy allowing yourself to be just absorbed with watching the latest films on Netflix, or just being absorbed in social media, that you don't allow yourself to plan. Like people that are that fit into the circle box, they can think ahead, but we just like Ferrari on past everything, and then have to spend half of our life undoing all of the mess and the damage and the wake of disaster that we've left in our trail behind us. But if we can go back and turn around and say, okay, well, where do I want to be in 10 years? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Yeah, then start writing down some life goals. I earn such and such amount of money, or I drive such and such a car, or whatever, to quote John Rohn. Yeah, do that, because I'm telling you, 4:30 in the morning sounds horrible, but if someone was to say, I'll give you £500 to do that, then you'd think, okay, well, £500 to get up at 4:30 in the morning, you'll be back home by 6:30. You can go back into bed again. That's no problem. You've been up at 4:30. You go back, £500. Well, I'm almost certain that those 2 hours of you meditating with a pen and a paper and thinking, where do I want to be in 5 years' time, and where do I want to be in 10 years' time, that will be more valuable than £500 of any training course or any personal development course that you can go on to, because it will be your own thoughts. You know your life better than your doctor. You know your life better than your parents. You know your life better than your husband, your wife. You know you better than anybody else. So for you to be able to have that time to yourself and tell yourself what it is that you want, at least you're planning the future and you've got something written down as a goal, and that's where you want to be. 4:30 in the morning, please. Someone, if I get one of my viewers sets their timer for 4:30 and goes away to somewhere in nature, lake, mountain, hills, whatever, and watch the sunrise and just have a think on things, that'll be, honestly, I swear to you, that'll be more work, in monetary value than £500. So yeah, there we go. Sound advice. I'm gonna hate it. I tell you, I don't like it. I'd love to stay in bed until 11, 12, and most weeks, one of the days in the week, I'll end up laying in because I just I'm procrastinating or whatever. Just as a quick one before I finish, this diary that I did on last week's video, this Fox planner has been fantastic. I haven't actually used any of my stickers yet, but what I have done is I have started, I went through a whole week of writing down everything that I wanted to achieve that week. And whilst I didn't get everything achieved, I achieved more last week through having everything written down, what I wanted to do. Yep. It was good. Work to do, personal to-do list, this week's main goals, this week's priorities, meeting people, networking, getting to work, spending time with family. My two main things that I found that I did best was my personal development and my health and fitness. Things that suffered were my family and friends. I didn't make much effort with my family and friends. and finance. I didn't spend as much time on my finance as I wanted to. Oh, sorry, you've just realised I've got the charts in here. I have another YouTube video where I do cryptocurrency and financial, sort of like being able to read the markets and stuff, where I help people and learn how to trade. But yeah, so sorry about having that in the background. Great time to buy, actually. Anyway, so that was that. Then spiritual, that was another one that was a bit low on the list. Although I did book a trip to Israel, so I'm going to Israel next week, 26th to the 2nd. I'm going to Israel, so I'm going to be in Jerusalem. I'm going to be in Bethlehem. I'm going to go up to the Mountain of Olives. I'm going to see all these things. I've read the Bible. It was a very difficult book to read, very difficult book to understand, but I did read it. It was one of those things I wanted to tick off my list. I've done it. Going to Israel, it's something that I want to do, so it's booked. I'm going, and then I can tick it off my list. It was one of those impetuous things. Again, just roll with it. It was one evening I was like, I've got some money. I'm going to go. Book the plane flights and the hostel which I want to stay in, and that's it. It's done. So I booked it. And that's it. I'm going. So I'll do a couple of videos while I'm out there as well. A couple of live videos for you. So yeah. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap up. Cool. That's it. That's rolling with it. So I hope you guys got something out of today's video, and if you didn't, I'm sorry. And hopefully, when I'm give you a video next week, there'll be something a little bit more thought out. But I think there were some things in there. But roll with it. Think of Oasis. You got to roll with it. Take your time. Think a lot. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.